Hey everybody, I'm Mary Gardner and welcome to today's show with myself and Aunt Paula. We're very excited to talk to you today about having dynamic communication. Now, there are a couple little things that we're going to discuss today. They're very, very subtle little things that make an enormous difference. And they are going to be tone, energy, and pace. And welcome, please, my favorite, Aunt Paula. Hello, Aunt Paula.
Oh my gosh, now the secret's out. Anybody in our families will know I'm your favorite. Oh my
You know, but if I'm talking to them, they're my favorite too, right?
Okay.
I love you all. We have an awesome family.
Excited about the topic today, Mary.
I know, me too. These little tiny things are extraordinarily important. And I know that for myself, when I've been coaching people for 20 years, it's the tiny little itty bitty things. And I always share with people, you're already successful. You've already gotten to a certain level, but it's the tiniest little things that can make an enormous difference. For instance, the tilt of a head. That little tiny tilt can make people feel like you're either really confident or a little insecure. So these are tiny little things that Paula and I are working together on to help you become powerful. So the very first thing we're going to talk about right now is tone of voice. Aunt Paula, talk to me about tone of voice. What's your one tip?
Well, I like to bring up the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay.
And the teacher, maybe some of you are still too young, but that particular teacher who, when he would do roll call, he'd say Bueller. Anyone, and it could put you to sleep. I think that's a perfect example of a lack of dynamics and a real subtle way. He lost the class while he was taking roll call. Just by the tone of his voice. He didn't even get into the meat of his class and he lost his audience.
Absolutely. And I work a lot with introverts, and oftentimes the introverts are very quiet and they have one tone of voice. And what I always share with people is that you can be at this level and still yell at everybody, and you can be at this level and be very quiet. And if you don't vary your tone of voice, then you're boring. No matter if you're a high pace or high tone of voice, low tone of voice, it doesn't matter. There's got to be a variance. It's like music. So we practice when we're working together on that tone of voice to be able to use it in a way that is expressive. So when you're telling a story, you're able to share from the heart and people can feel it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. If you think of each emotion having a range of 1 to 10, you're not always down there at 1 all the time. You're not always down here. And you're not always up here and frantic all the time either. You know, you've got some varieties of paces. One of my favorite awarenesses of tone was from a choir conductor. And he was talking to the women about their solo parts. And he says, women, he says, I want you to sing this like you were whispering something loving in someone's ear. It changed the chorus sound entirely.
I love it. I love it. It's beautiful. All right, let's move on to energy. How important is a person's energy? And do people read your energy? Do they feel your energy? And how are people experiencing your energy? That's what I like to ask people. So what's your thought process and your one tip on energy?
Well, I would say that I really like a person who has energy like you do, and I like working with someone with energy like you. I will work with people who have a different kind of low energy, but what that'll do is it'll suck the life out of me after a certain period of time, and I need to go refuel someplace else. And when I'm like interviewing or when I'm trying to sell an idea to someone, I have to do it with a good level of energy so they buy whatever thought I'm trying to convey. If I'm down here, it sounds like I'm just really not that interested in my own idea. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Absolutely. I want to share one tip for the people that I like to work with is introverts and people, really anybody, but knowing what brings up your energy, because you are being judged on the energy that you can bring to the table in an interview, in a company, as a consultant, as a business development person. People are looking at your energy and they're feeling it. So one of the things is if you are a natural introvert, in the morning, create a miracle morning, as they call it, and create a system that allows you to bring energizers into your world. And maybe you've got to know what your system is in order to get your energy up. Maybe for you as an introvert, it is spending time alone, but maybe it's also listening to music. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it is spending time with an animal, your dog or your horse, or going for a walk. What is it that makes you feel happy and what gives you energy? So you're feeling it and you know you can authentically bring it to the table. So that's what I'd like to say is, what are your energizers? Make sure you're doing it every day. Make sure you're doing it before interviews and before important meetings. If you're leading online meetings, that's super important that you bring energy to the table, because people don't want to be around boring people. Let's face it, right?
Not forever.
Not forever, maybe in some situations. Right, exactly. All right, let's talk pace. It's really important for us to know about pace. Pace is really important because sometimes it's really important that you're really fast. Sometimes people can hear more and you need to put more information in a short amount of time. And sometimes it's important to slow down, to really let people understand and comprehend and absorb a point that you're trying to make. Talk to me, Paula, about pace when you're working with somebody maybe on stage.
So I have a background in theater as well as working with people who are seeking employment, and that's why Mary referenced that. Different moods, different occasions require a different kind of a pacing. Just like the example Mary just gave you, you know, some people can take in your thoughts an awful lot quicker than we can say them. That's a given. The brain is able to process way more words than the human being can say. But pace of delivery is another subtle communication skill, just like the pause, that lets you know how darn important the next thing you're going to say is, or how exciting the next thing you're going to say is. And you can use pace advantageously if you remember you're using one at all.
Absolutely. All right, guys, these are a couple little tips. We've got more in our program that is about leading meetings. And if you're somebody who is leading meetings and you're somebody who wants to make a great impression on your company, your industry, and the world, we'd love to share these ideas with you. Go to my website, marygardner.com, and check out our program that we did together. And thank you so much for having us today into your living room or into your office. And we appreciate you very much. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Bye.